Well, good morning and welcome into the Real Monica Adams Show. It is 7 a.m. and we've got a gorgeous day as you're stepping outside weather-wise today. Tonight, though, is going to be really, really cool. We're going to give you the weather forecast. Our What the Weather segment with Beckett Moore returns on Friday. And by the way, we still have an opportunity for your business to be a part of our What the Weather segment. If you would like to sponsor that, further his education and further the opportunity to bring more and more as far as equipment and software, things like that, into our segments, reach out to me, info@TheRealMonicaAdams.com. He is incredible. He's been with us since January. If you have not seen him, you're definitely missing out. We've got some news you can use. Let me preview what's coming up on this morning's show. We'll talk from comfort food to calmness in your life. We're going to cover it all. We'll have Chef Matthew Unger on this morning. He is with the book Missouri Comfort. We're going to talk about some recipes, some restaurants all throughout the Show Me State. And then Sarah Glasser, the owner of YENology, the most calming boutique store that we have in our area, actually in Frontenac. Today we're going to hear the journey leading up to opening YENology. Her background is incredible, from helping out women and children in domestic violence cases, becoming an attorney, helping really push forward medical marijuana, medicinal aspects of cannabis, things like that. She has different parts of that in her store, but also everything from candles to essential oils, everything calming, workshops to calm you. And we're going to be there with our show coming up next Thursday on October 10th. So we'll definitely want you to be there as well. Let's kick off, though, your weather forecast. First of all, for today, we have a cooler afternoon on tap for you today. 75 for a high, 49. Look at that low tomorrow. By the way, tomorrow for all of our Jewish community, tomorrow is the beginning of Rosh Hashanah. We have a crisp morning on tap for you. 75 tomorrow, 54 for the low. On Thursday, 83 for the high, so we start to warm back up. Friday, 82. Saturday, Sunday in the low 80s. Look at that. Throughout the entire 10-day forecast, we have absolutely no mention of rain. You can see the icon on Saturday night. We have St. Louis City SC on tap. And then we get into next week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, the low to mid 70s, and absolutely no mention of rain. So you're going to have to get out there and water if you've got a crispy lawn or anything like that left over from summer. But definitely fall feel for the next 10 days. We are going to kick off our news you can use in just a second. Let's start off by telling you it is the beginning of October. Can you believe this? We are getting closer and closer to the end of the year. October 1st brings Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And I want to give you a rundown. National Pumpkin Spice Day and National Taco Day is on tap for today as well. We like to give you some national days of when they're fun. Today, National Fire Pup Day. It's also National Black Dog Day. So for all of you with black dogs, today's their day. National Hair Day. Well, isn't that ironic? I'm going to get my hair finally done after being in the sun in Cabo. You can see Ashlyn, who's part of my team, said, "Did you get highlights?" I'm like, no, this is just Cabo sun. National Green City Day, National Pumpkin Spice Day. Yes, all of you have been waiting. You now officially can have your pumpkin spice in your coffee, etc. Birthdays, rundown. Let's see. Any big birthdays for October? I don't see any that really stand out. National Homemade Cookie Day, National Taco Day, and National Fruit at Work Day. Bring your fruit into work today. Let's see. Do we have anybody really big on October 1st for birthdays? Walter Matthau. He died back in 2000. Jimmy Carter, of course, we were going to say in the news, but let's go ahead and say it now. Jimmy Carter turns 100, the first president to turn 100. So let's go ahead and kick that off today. We'll move things around a little bit. But Jimmy Carter, again, turning 100. Now, he is in hospice, according to his family, but let's all congratulate President Jimmy Carter. Pretty cool of that. Anybody else that I'm seeing is big? Mark McGuire. Yep, his birthday today. We've got a full rundown. There's a lot of birthdays. Randy Quaid, American actor that you may know. Tom Bosley, another American actor. There was a lot, actually, that I saw a rundown. The wife of Robert E. Lee, Mary Ann Custis Lee, her birthday today as well. So again, October 1st, kicking things off. Just want to give you a little rundown of birthdays and the national days of. So if you've got a black dog, by the way, running around, give them some extra love today because today is their day. All right, let's get into news. And we're going to start with a lot of follow-up stories as we promised. from the port worker strike that is officially underway for the first time since 1977. So there are going to be a lot of issues from this. You know, the strike itself is one thing, but how it will impact you is the big aspect of why we're doing the story today. In this latest development of the ongoing labor dispute, the work stoppage at Eastern and Gulf Coast facilities is expected to impact a host of consumer products. So let's run through this. Atlantic ports handle more than half of U.S. imports. This is an estimated economic impact per day of $540 million. Just imagine how this could cripple us if this continues for the next week or weeks to come. We're talking about bananas and mangoes on the top of the list at the grocery store. Other food and beverage commodities include beer, wine, spirits, all impacted because of their perishable nature. Now, some of the durable goods that could be impacted because of how they are rerouted, and they are not perishable but still rerouted and used of ports, is furniture, tires that could be stuck at ports. Many other consumer aspects that could plague us. Will be following this, and each day as this continues, I will update you on how it will affect you. Here's the St. Louis County aspect of something that we told you with St. Charles County a few months ago. Now, for St. Louis County, the St. Louis County Senior Property Tax Freeze Program. If you're at least 62 years old and you live in the county, you could be eligible for this program. Applications open today. According to the Department of Revenue, you must be 62 years or older as of December 31st of this year. You must be the property owner or have legal or equitable interest of a residential property as of 12/31 of this year. Now, the home you're applying for the tax credit on must be your primary residence, and you can only claim a senior property tax credit on one home. You need to apply with your proof of identity and age, have your state-issued driver's license, your ID, your birth certificate ready, and other things. For you to find out more about this, go on to the assessor's website, and you can submit your application online or in person. There's the full link on our, as you can see on our screen right now, but we'll also have Hannah, who is moderating, put that in the moderating comments for you, because again, anybody that is 62 or older, you will want to know about this, applying for the St. Louis County Senior Property Tax Freeze Program. Well, today is National Night Out, and if you've never taken part in this, it's an opportunity for you to get out, enjoy time meeting new neighbors, and meeting your local police department. And fortunately, it's actually going to be gorgeous. Now, there's actually several communities that are taking part in this. I'm just going to give you some, and then maybe you need to look into your own communities in the future and ask them to be a part of this. Baldwin, Clayton, St. Peters, Wentzville, Webster Groves, and then on the Illinois side, Cahokia Heights, Collinsville, O'Fallon, Illinois, Mascoutah, and Edwardsville. We're going to give you an update on a police officer and an event where you can go get your hair cut and help out backstoppers, and an event we have to help out Respond to Rescue in just a second. Continuing with our news you can use, vice presidential debate is on tap for tonight, and it will be hosted and moderated by CBS Evening News anchor Nora O'Donnell, and she'll be moderating with Margaret Brennan. It's at 8 o'clock tonight, 90 minutes between the vice presidential debate candidates, J.D. Vance and Tim Walz. This is the last debate between the two campaigns before the November election. Again, we already told you President Jimmy Carter turning 100 today, so happy birthday to him. Now we're getting into some sports news. We promised to give you a follow-up to yesterday's St. Louis Cardinals player development press conference that they had at 2 o'clock. One of the biggest stories from that yesterday has to do with more of the upper management aspect. That conference, by the way, was at Busch Stadium yesterday afternoon. The franchise announcing some operational changes, including the promotion of Chaim Bloom, the former baseball operations executive with the Rays and the Red Sox, who served in a part-time advisory capacity in the Cardinals front office this year. He will start a full-time role with increased influence over the way the Cardinals develop players after the team finished consecutive seasons outside the postseason field. He will take over as president of baseball operations when Mozeliak steps away after the 2025 season. In addition, addition, the Cardinals announced they will spend more on player development, including the hiring of additional staff, and will be breaking ground on an expansion of their spring training complex in Jupiter in April of next year. Now, Oliver Marmol is said to be staying on. Because of these investments, Mozeliak said he would anticipate the payroll would fall in 2025. There's also reports suggesting that the Cardinals could shop around Sonny Gray in trade talks sometime this winter. And then in two sad stories from the sports world, Pete Rose has died. An incredible player on the field. Unfortunately, a lot off the field having to do with gambling and not ever being able to make it into the Hall of Fame because of that. The former MLB player and Cincinnati Reds manager died at 83. Nicknamed Charlie Hustle, the manner and the cause of death had not been determined. Hall of Fame basketball player Dikembe Mutombo also dying at a very young age, 58, from brain cancer. He was in the organization for 18 seasons with Denver, Atlanta, Houston, Philadelphia, New York, and the then New Jersey Nets, one of the greatest shot blockers and defensive players in the history of the NBA. Off the floor, he poured his heart and soul into helping others. Again, rest in peace, Dikembe Mutombo. And we've got preseason Blues action on tap tonight. The St. Louis Blues playing the Columbus Blue Jackets. You all ready for some hockey? Absolutely. Before we get into our shows for the day, St. Louis Blues, again, I mentioned in action, and then we transition to a couple of events having to do with our officers. Ferguson officer Travis Brown, first of all, the update on him, he is no longer in a medically induced coma. So when I talk about responder rescue, and I talk about not only do they help our officers who are killed in the line of duty, but those injured that we hope can return to their chosen profession, well, sometimes they're not able to. Family saying that Officer Brown was taken off of the ventilator that he was on. The officer was injured last month by protesters outside of the Ferguson Police Department. His family says he was taken off of sedation and he is moving. So again, I want to give you an update anytime we get information about Officer Brown. Also, this week, helping out backstoppers, all you have to do is go get a haircut. All 16 St. Louis area hair salon locations donating 10% of their proceeds to the backstoppers, supporting the family of fallen St. Louis police officer David Lee. So two great organizations, the Backstoppers as well as Responder Rescue. Our flyer we just showed you on the scene gives a rundown of our big event coming up on Friday. Not only are we celebrating 400 shows, which is an incredible feat for all that have served on my team, but it's what we're doing with the money from those tickets. We have sold, I believe, 44 tickets, and we've got a big push over these next few days. I'd love to get that over 50. So tell all of your friends, all of your family to buy their tickets at TheRealMonicaAdams.com. We've all purchased our tickets, getting ready for the big night. It's a steak dinner that you'll get, steak, potatoes, salad. You get a couple of drink tickets. There's music that will start at 7:30. I'm hearing that outside of that beautiful place, it's the watering hole in Defiance, that you'll see the St. Charles County SWAT officer. They'll have their vehicles out there. I'm hearing maybe a big fire truck with a ladder up for the kids, which they would enjoy. I even heard the possibility of a helicopter. I'm like, what? All of this set up outside of the watering hole affiliated with Circle 6, the farm that's just a few miles away. And then the big market, which you'll love, the meat market, is next door. If you have not been there yet, you have missed out on some incredible food. Again, the Circle 6 watering holes where we'll be on Friday, 5:30 to 7 p.m., and we cannot wait to see you. All right, 7:14. We are going to take our break, and when we come back, we're going to kick off our two segments. First of all, Chef Matthew Unger, and he is the author of a book called Missouri Comfort. We're going to talk about recipes, some family traditions, some great restaurants all throughout the Show Me State. And then Sarah Glasser will be in our second segment, and we'll be talking about YENology. We're going to hear about her journey leading up to her dream. And for all of you that are dreaming, whatever job you're in right now, at any point, you can shift, switch gears, and follow your passion, just like she did. We're going to be talking about our big show there next Thursday as well. A lot of opportunities for you to join us at these mobile Monicas. 7:15, good morning to each and every one of you. We'll look at your comments, your questions as you drop those in all throughout the show. When we return, Matthew Unger in the blue chair.
I'm excited to announce my all-new mattress topper. In the times we're in, I wanted to bring you the best affordable mattress topper ever. So I took my two best technologies and combined them to make the ultimate mattress topper. And now you can get it for as low as $69.98. Queen size only $99.98. It all starts with my famous MyPillow foam that provides you that overall full body support. Second is the individual comfort supports that give you an amazing custom sleep experience. It's like it's made specifically for you. The queen size alone has over 14,000 comfort supports. This is the perfect mattress topper to improve any bed. New bed, old bed, your guest beds. Get them for every bedroom in your house. Go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to get the all-new My Mattress Topper for as low as $69.98. Queen size only $99.98. Don't delay, order today.
Monica's show, it's very informational, but more importantly, inspirational.
People such as myself and others can come out and talk about real issues that are taking place in our communities.
These are amazing, really, really important topics that don't get discussed enough.
It really just promotes people who are making change and doing good in their lives.
Welcome back, 7:17, and time to kick off the Real Monica Adams show. If you missed the first 10-15 minutes of the show, be sure to go back to that so you can be updated on all the news you can use, your sports news, your weather forecast as well. Now we've got two great segments on tap. We're going to go from comfort food to calmness. However, comfort food might put you in a calm state, maybe food-induced coma sometimes. We're going to talk about this with one of the authors of the book, Missouri Comfort. Chef Matthew Unger is my first guest. How are you?
Very good. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming in. So yes, I just mentioned that Missouri Comfort, Recipes, Places, Food Traditions in the Show Me State is a book that was sent to me right before I left for Cabo. Actually, a good book to just flip through and look at some really incredible recipes and then restaurants that I have completely forgotten about that are in our area. But I want to go back. You authored this with Portia Murphy, right?
Yes.
Okay, so let's give some background on you first of all, and then how this whole book came about.
Sure. So I've been a chef for about 25 years. I was at the Missouri Athletic Club for 8 years, a good stint there. Then my wife and I had a restaurant, comfort food restaurant of all things, down in South City by DeBerg High School for 5 years. And now I'm with Midwest Petroleum. So
what a shift.
I know. I never would have thought I would have been in convenience stores. But really, if you look at the way convenience stores have gone with food over the last 10, 15 years, it's not just a roller grill item anymore. It's full salads and hot foods and pizzas and so forth. So I've been building out that program for them for the last 8 years, which has been really fun.
And you just saw some of the pictures that we're showing on screen. So Matthew's, that was the restaurant that you were affiliated with?
Matthew's Kitchen was the restaurant we had. And then as that just popped up, Smashburgers, Shelley's Smashburgers, we just opened up inside one of the convenience stores. So it truly is a go in, make it to order, food from scratch right out of a convenience store.
Again, congratulations for all you've done in the last 25 years. So from the comfort side, it's funny because growing up, my mom and dad always taught us to be really healthy. We're all athletes. We just all ate healthy. And so I would hear comfort food from my dad's background. So he was actually born and raised in Memphis, Tennessee. So everything he was around was all that idea of Southern comfort food.
Sure.
But would you shift the mindset of people who think the way I do, health-wise, of comfort food and say that there's healthy comfort food?
Well, sure. I think, and this question's been asked a lot of me over the last few weeks, but, I think comfort food is anything that kind of brings you back to your childhood, anything that kind of makes you happy while you're eating it. So, sure, it could be ice cream, but it could be a vegetable dish. There's a cucumber recipe in here that we have under our barbecue section that it brings me back to my childhood because my grandma always used to make it growing up. So, yeah, it's healthy, but it's also considered a comfort food.
Absolutely, and that's the one I was flipping through. I'm like, well, this would be considered healthy. And there are a lot of vegetables, by the way. If I think of Southern cooking, cookies, cookies
Even
are comfort,
better.
exactly, even better. But there are a lot of vegetables, a lot of side dishes that grandmas, aunts, uncles, moms make that are part of that, as you said, bringing you back to this memory of, oh my gosh, I remember when.
Sure, and one of the vegetables we highlighted in here, we went back to indigenous things, vegetables that are grown in Missouri. So soybeans, corn, peppers. So we did a succotash recipe with, instead of lima beans, we used edamame and the corn and so forth. So very healthy dish, high protein, but again, comfort food.
What is, if you have to pick one dish in all your years of being a chef and what you're doing now, and I know it's hard to say this, but one dish that just brings you, yes, this is my favorite go-to comfort food.
It might be easier to pick which child I like better.
Oh, exactly.
I'm partial to the beef stroganoff that we have in the book. It was my grandma's recipe, and every time I would go over there, that's what I would. Of course, I call it meat stroganoff, not beef stroganoff, but that was my favorite thing growing up. So yeah, every time I make it, I think of her, and so that is kind of a special dish.
What do you think, from the people who have had a chance to read through the book already, has stood out the most? Before we get into the restaurant aspect of the Show Me State, the recipes besides the beef stroganoff that we've mentioned so far, what do you think that they'll flip through and go, okay, yes, this one, that one?
Well, the thing I hear about the most is that the meatloaf recipe from the restaurant did not make it in the cookbook. So that is the thing I hear about most. But, I think people are very interested in the barbecue aspect of we have a chapter on barbecue and the difference between St. Louis versus Kansas City.
Yeah.
And, we did burnt ends from Kansas City and pork steaks from St. Louis. So definitely some unique things to the area. And I think that's what's getting the most play.
Yeah, and there you go, the barbecue on the screen. What would you say is the greatest difference between St. Louis and Kansas City barbecue?
I think that those two cuts of meat right there, you go in any barbecue place in Kansas City, you're going to get burnt ends. You can get them here in St. Louis, but not everywhere. And then pork steaks for St. Louis. I mean, not only are you getting them at restaurants, but everybody's making them at home. And really outside of the St. Louis metro area, nobody's even heard of them.
So more of the cut of the meat than the sauce itself.
Yeah, absolutely.
See, I think everybody, and I'm glad you said that, because a lot of people are always like, is it the sauce that's so different, or what is so different about St. Louis and KC?
So the Kansas City sauce, they're both tomato-based. Kansas City sauce is a little bit sweeter. It'll have a little more sugar or molasses or honey, where Kansas City sauce will have, or St. Louis sauce will have a little bit more vinegar, so it'll be a little bit more sour.
So grandmas, grandpas, moms, dads, that all are from the past cooking very Southern comfort food style, and then still are, taking those traditions and recipes from the past. What do you think they're proudest of that you've put in this book?
Oh gosh, I think that the two chapters that they're most proud of are the German chapter and the Irish chapter, because that's where my heritage is from. So, Grandma Maher's recipes of Irish soda bread, or Grandma Unger's recipes of chicken paprikash or schnitzel and spätzle. I think that they're most proud to see that those recipes are published and will always have somewhere.
That's what I enjoyed. And when I was flipping through, we might be cousins, because I also have a German and Irish tradition.
Perfect. Well, from St. Louis, that's not too strange.
Exactly. So from the German side, schnitzel, and then I took a little German when I was in high school, but I forgot it all. Is it Glurs? Do you know that recipe?
No, I don't know that recipe.
Look into that. You might want to do that in Missouri Comfort too.
You stumped me. You stumped me. Yeah, we already have plenty of recipes for
another
Missouri Comfort too. It's funny because everybody brings up their favorite comfort food, and now that this is published, they bring up what they grew up with in Missouri. So definitely get some new ideas.
And let's go back, by the way, if you're just tuning in, Chef Matthew Unger, he is the co-author of the book Missouri Comfort, which you're seeing right there on our table. Recipes, places, and food traditions in the Show Me State, along with Portia Murphy. So from the Irish standpoint, people who have never had soda bread before, tell them about that, because I never used to taste it because people used to go, soda bread's not very good. And that's the bad rap that I used to always hear.
yeah,
And then I disagree when I tried it.
Soda bread's great if you have a good recipe. This recipe in here is a little bit sweeter. It has raisins and caraway seeds in it, which is the base of the flavor. But basically, we're used to yeast bread. This has baking soda, baking powder, and no yeast whatsoever. So the leavener is the baking soda and baking powder. It's definitely more dense, but I think there's nothing better than the next day when there's some left over to toast it with a little bit of butter on there. It's amazing.
Well, and a perfect time for this to come out because even though the weather's still looking a little summer-like, we are into fall officially today, the first day of October. So it's definitely the mindset of colder weather, and that's when people start to think more comfort food. So we think of chili, lasagna. We've got such a rich history of Italian food, and on the cover you have the hill located. So let's talk about what stands out in Missouri Comfort that has to do with Italian.
So there's two areas. There's Little Italy up in Kansas City, and then there's the Hill that we're all familiar with here in St. Louis. And just a couple things. Obviously, toasted raviolis stand out, and there is a recipe for toasted raviolis in the book. But also things like chicken spadini was brought from Sicily to the United States via Kansas City. So that first place it was on a menu at any restaurant was in Kansas City. So you don't think about that. But that truly is a Missouri dish as far as Italian food goes. Now, we also have we have a ragu and some really hearty dishes, not just spaghetti and meatballs, which is in there, but some real hearty dishes going into the fall. So yeah, you're absolutely right. This is the time of year to buy the book.
Oh, absolutely. And then what about chili?
Chili, there is one chili recipe, and it goes with the slinger because that's a St. Louis favorite as well. So basic, what I consider St. Louis style chili, which does have beans in it, and it is fairly smooth. It's not real chunky. So. And
that is the age-old question from people of, do you put beans in chili or do you not put beans in chili?
I think you have to.
I put beans in chili.
Absolutely, you
What
have
about
to.
all of you? I'll look at your comments. I haven't had a chance to do that yet. But look at your comments. Are you a bean girl or guy? Or are you no, don't put beans in the chili. So I've got Tia in here, yes? Tia is part of my team. She says yes. So we're right here. We're 100% yes. What part of the United States doesn't put beans in chili?
Texas typically does not.
That's right.
Because they need more room for their meat. Yeah, I think it does. It has a good balance. Otherwise, it's too meaty, and you can't hardly eat any of it.
I absolutely agree.
You just have a little bit.
Again, we're visiting about the book Missouri Comfort with Chef Matthew Unger. We're going to take a quick break. More, and actually let us know, there are recipes from your childhood that have carried over. This is fun for you to think of that Grandma and Grandpa made. Cornbread, you have cornbread in there?
Cornbread's in there.
Okay, we'll hear about the cornbread recipe, which is good with chili, by the way, chili with beans. We'll have more with Chef Unger when we return. Everyone knows about Jody's balls, and why is that?
I have the best balls.
Oh, wait. 7:29. Now, I know we've been talking about comfort food and fall and getting ready for colder weather, but I have to tell you, coming back from Cabo and still having the pool open was really nice because we do still have nice weather. In fact, I mentioned at the very beginning of the show, we still have 80s for later on this week and heading into the weekend. So if you didn't close your pool, enjoy some more pool days. Might be a little chilly, but put your feet in. It's going to get down into the 40s tonight. It'll be time to start closing them up. And right now, Just Pools, our pool and spa specialist, they have 10% off of the winterizing kit. So if you do it on your own, then you can get 10% off. If not, you might want to ask Madonna and the team if they can get you on the schedule to have them close it for you. Now, I know little by little, every time I go by, there's not as many toys in the store anymore. That's because they have that big 50% off sale. Those huge noodles, all the fun toys, stock up on them so you have them for the beginning of next year's pool season. And then make way for that. It's spa season as well, and they are not just pool specialists, but how about getting a hot tub as we go into the cold weather months? That one right there I know is no longer in the store. That beautiful caramel chocolate brown one was sold. So get in there if you're looking for one for yourself and for your family. Just Pools, the pool and spa specialist in Arnold. They're located at 3987 West Outer Road South, 636-464-7110. It is 7:31. Welcome back. We are with Chef Matthew Unger, and he's looking through his own book. It's Missouri Comfort. Are you looking for that cornbread recipe?
I'm trying to find the cornbread recipe in case you have some questions for me.
I want to know if jalapenos is in it.
There are no jalapenos in it.
But isn't isn't that an incredible recipe?
Absolutely. I've done jalapenos, and I think that to counterbalance that, I put a little honey in with the corn, with the jalapenos, and a little sour cream. So those three elements really kick it up a notch, if you will.
I love spice. So tell me this. When you think of comfort food, what spices would go into comfort food that might elevate it up a notch? Because either that or I would have cornbread and put a little Tabasco on it.
Yeah, I mean, if spice is your thing that brings you comfort, then it could be anything. It could be, Thai chili or sriracha, or just depending on what you're eating. I know a lot of people that will put hot sauce on virtually everything, and that's their kind of comfort. Yeah, well,
that brings me happiness.
More power
Matthew.
to you. You were just trying to get a tip on a special pepper sauce.
I am. I'm trying to get the sneak peek into all of this. Okay, so comfort food. I want to ask all of you that are watching right now. Okay, Zach, who is my director, he says he's team beans for sure. We asked you earlier, do you put beans in your chili? Chef Matthew and I say yes. Stephanie says yes, beans, they're good for you. I make my mom's recipe for chili. Comfort food, stuffed cabbage rolls, and sauerkraut and stuffed peppers. Yeah. Anything like that in there?
We do have in the German section. We have a lot with sauerkraut.
Yeah.
No stuffed cabbage rolls though. No.
That's again going in Missouri comfort too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Michelle says beans for sure, and my go-to comfort food is shepherd's pie.
Shepherd's pie's in there.
Yes.
Traditionally used with lamb, although here in Missouri you see it with beef a lot. Mm-hmm. We just don't grow a lot of lamb here in Missouri, so that's one of those dishes that came over from Europe, and because of the ingredients being a little different here, it's kind of morphed into Missouri shepherd's pie, if you will.
Yes.
It's not just, your Scottish.
Typical Scottish,
or English, right. So, we see that with a lot of recipes that we didn't have all the ingredients that the old world had, so we kind of morphed the recipe into our own.
Well, and that's what I love when you go into restaurants. I mean, again, growing up here in St. Louis, it's really awesome to see the shift and the transition of growing up as a little girl in Florissant and what we had there, and what, again, as I said, carried over from my dad's background, truly Southern food.
Yep.
And that's the thing, when we think of Southern food, I think a lot of times we think of the African-American culture. Oh, they definitely are making Southern food for us. But no, it's all cultures.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And even different parts of the South, you see different recipes for the same thing. So, the cornbread recipe or the ham and bean recipe. There's a chef he's down in Nashville right now. His name's Sean Brock. And he truly breaks down Southern food, and it's making his own vinegars and his own yeast strands and so forth. So he's truly from scratch. But if you want to really learn what Southern comfort food is, It's a little bit different than what we see just in Missouri comfort food, but he would be a good resource for that.
Awesome.
Sean
Again,
Brock.
we're talking about Missouri Comfort. That's the book, Chef Matthew Unger. I'm going to, when we wrap up here in about 10 minutes, I'm going to tell you where you can go for book signings that are coming up and where you can get the book. Marilyn says chili without beans. I knew somebody was going to be in
She's
our
wrong.
audience. Did you
So
say
we
she's
have
wrong?
one person wrong.
Yeah, Marilyn says it doesn't make sense. Chili without beans doesn't make sense. Never mind. She
okay,
says
okay.
yes to the beans.
Sorry, Marilyn. You're right.
Sorry,
You're
Marilyn.
right.
Yes, she says I have a gear chili recipe. Gear? It's probably great. Chili recipe. And several neighbors and friends are here at Halloween. Yes. No. Okay, wait. Kathy Anselmo says no beans.
Wow.
Kathleen
Sorry.
Morris says no beans.
You guys are missing out.
Luann says yes, beans and chili. Julie says yes, beans. Anybody else, feel free to drop in about that. And if, in fact, you have a favorite comfort food, drop it in like Kathleen did. She says chicken and dumplings. I was just going to get to that because that is what my dad made the best.
Absolutely. And so Grandma Maher's recipe on the Irish side, so chicken and dumplings. And she would always, I didn't put these in, but she would always put potatoes in her chicken and dumpling recipe, because there's not enough starch in it to
There
begin
isn't,
with.
no.
So
Let's
we
add
throw
another
some
one.
potatoes in there. But yeah, absolutely, and that was a fan favorite throughout the family. And they're flat dumplings. So there's two different types of dumplings you can have. You can have the drop dumplings.
Yes, that's what he did.
Or the flat dumplings. In this recipe, it's the flat dumplings.
And so she had just said thin rolled dumplings.
Yeah, and so those are the flat.
That would be the flat, right?
Yeah.
Chef, what do you suggest for a Christmas get-together for 6 girls? We always have the same thing over the years. I'd like to surprise them with something yummy. What's your favorite?
So, 6 to 50, I always put out an antipasta platter, and that's something that my wife's family brought to the equation, which she's not Italian, so I don't know where it came from. But, yeah, because you can put out all types of cheeses or meats or vegetables or breads and so forth. So there's always something for somebody, or for everybody. So, I like the peppers. We always put out a lot of peppers and pickles. My kids will eat the whole jar of pickles. So, it's kind of a fun thing just to nosh on.
I love that word.
all
Don't you just
afternoon.
love noshing? And peppadew peppers, by the way, are
Yes.
incredible. Put
Yes.
those on your antipasta or on your charcuterie platters. Introduce people to those because there's still a lot of people that are like, what is a peppadew?
And I like the big cherry peppers
Yes.
that you can get in the jar. There's a lot of seeds in them, but man, they have a really good flavor.
They have great flavoring. Then people always look at a pepper and they think it's going to be crazy spicy. But there you go, Rose. There's an opportunity for you. So before we wrap up and give you the rundown of where you can go get the book and meet the chef, standout restaurants that we must go to throughout Missouri.
Oh gosh. Well, I think you got to start with down in Springfield. Have to go down and get cashew chicken down in Springfield, Missouri. I think you have to get barbecue when you're in Kansas City. Oklahoma. Well, I think it's Kansas Joe's now. I think it was Oklahoma Joe's to start. Now it's Kansas Joe's. It's one of my favorites. And then something 39. It's like Latitude 39 or something like that. It's really good out there. Springfield, Columbia. When you're in Mizzoutown, you have to go to Shakespeare's and
Yes.
and Booch's. So get a slice and a burger. And then locally, I mean, it's hard to say because growing up here, there's so many great restaurants, but. I really like going down on the hill, either getting Bartolino's or even off the hill at Trattoria Marcella.
There you go. We love Trattoria Marcella. They're so
me
incredible.
Too. And that Stevie and Jamie are great people.
And Christine.
And
Don't forget the
Christine,
sister.
absolutely. And Stevie's such a talented chef, so it's always a pleasure going in there.
Yeah, those are the very dear friends. And if you've never seen the show that we did with them, it's one of our absolute favorites from the restaurant scenes of what we've done. Yeah, I mean, it would be hard. It's really awesome, though, to look back at the chefs that are still here that have kind of moved around to different restaurants.
Absolutely.
And I love how each chef lifts each chef up, right? Because
Absolutely.
really all you want in this town is to make sure that they succeed.
It's really a great community. And we were talking about this yesterday, how there's so much talent in the St. Louis area that you don't realize it until you go to other cities. And, I'm always in search for what great local dishes are there, what great local restaurants are there. And you really don't see the quality that you see in St. Louis that you do in other cities.
We're looking at some incredible pictures, by the way, from the book, Missouri Comfort. Oh, yeah. You've got to love, we just showed earlier, Gus's pretzels. That's truly a comfort food because, again, what Chef Unger is saying is what brings you to happiness? What brings you back to your kids? Growing up, my mom lived off of Salina, right by the brewery. So we would go the back alley and get the frozen pretzels to take home with us, which a lot of you now don't know anything about that because they don't have that anymore.
Oh, I do. I know all about it. And we would go down there every Saturday morning and grab pretzels, drive over to the stadium, sit in front of the stadium, eat our pretzels. And it was when my kids, who are now teenagers, were very young. So kind of brings back that memory every time I get a pretzel.
Absolutely. Again, there's so much in this book. We showed some burgers on there because you can think of comfort food as the best burgers and French fries in our area, best pizza in our area. I just had some incredible pizza last night, by the way. Yes, it's all about balance. So as a personal trainer, I will eat comfort food with you. I just don't eat comfort food every day. Or, as I love the fact Chef Unger said, it's just whatever brings you happiness.
That's right.
Right? We're
That's
literally
right.
going today from comfort food to calmness, and that calmness aspect can come from comfort food. So there's a lot of opportunities for you to go get the book, and we are right in the beginning, or maybe some of you are really ahead of the game and already started buying your Christmas gifts. I think this would be a good one to put on the list for people who love food and who love books. So you've got a book signing coming up this Friday, speaking of being on the Hill. Favaz is on the Hill.
Yep.
And then on Saturday, October 12th, you'll be at LeGrand's Marketing Catering. That's on Donovan. A presentation and book signing at the Missouri River Regional Library in Jeff City.
Yep.
That'll be Thursday, October 17th.
And that one, actually, Portia will be at.
Portia will be there? Okay.
Portia will be
Will
there.
you be at the Kitchen Conservatory?
I will be at the Kitchen
Love that
Conservatory.
place, by the way, when
Yep.
you think about cooking together. Saturday, October 26th, there will be from 10 to 2 a presentation and a book signing. And then going into November on the 2nd, I love Grace Meat Plus 3.
Oh, great guys.
Isn't-
Great guys. They're just wonderful, wonderful people in the industry, and their food's unbelievable.
I love that family. That book signing will be on November 2nd. You'll be at that one?
Yep.
And then November 15th at Bartolino's. That's the one on Sulphur, by the way. Bartolino's Osteria. Presentation and book signing. Did I miss one? Or is that all
No,
of
that's
it?
all of them. But, you mentioned the Kitchen Conservatory. A lot of these recipes we'll be doing classes for at the Kitchen Conservatory. So if you want that one-on-one, learning experience, check them out and come take a class.
I would love that. And I think I heard the Kitchen Conservatory. Is that the one that's also doing, they have cooking and they also have swing dancing? Have you
They
heard
do
that?
have a class. They do have a couple different dance classes. I taught one time, not the dance portion of it, but the cooking side of it. And it was definitely entertaining.
Well, we might get the chef if you ask him. Maybe he'll dance. Maybe
Nope,
not.
Not
No,
a
he will
chance. Not a chance. You don't want me dancing. I'll cook for you anytime. You don't want me dancing.
All right, again, you've been a pleasure. It's Missouri Comfort, so get that for yourself. Buy another one for somebody else on your Christmas list. It's recipes and places and food traditions in the Show Me State with Matthew Unger and Portia Murphy. Again, Missouri Comfort. Great book and some great recipes in there. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you so much for having me.
We're going from comfort food to calmness, a true calming aspect. And we've been telling you about YENology, our big show that's coming up next Thursday. It'll be a noontime show. So maybe grab some lunch and then come over and join us. We're going to meet the owner, Sarah Glasser. What an incredible lead up to her opening her own boutique in our area, truly the most calming place that you're going to have in St. Louis. We're going to hear about her journey, though, and I will tell you, it is a storied journey that she has had leading up to opening this. And a lot of times I'll tell you about career paths that people have taken, and you think that's what they always did. Nope, you really just got to start asking people, what did you do before this? Wait till you hear what Sarah has done. She'll be in the blue chair when we return. He wants to say, I can't believe I took your son's life. I don't know what I was thinking. I have so much regret and remorse. I've changed my life. Would you accept that apology?
I've never thought of that. Yeah. Yeah, I would.
Do you think, because you talk about forgiveness, do you think that you all can ever forgive one another and come back together?
It wasn't just right. I'm not perfect. Just because my name is Bush, I don't have it all figured out, and I think they know that too.
I was cyclically depressed, so I could be the happiest person you ever met at 11 a.m. I could be on cloud 9, and by 7 p.m. that evening, I'd be sitting on a couch with a gun in my hand and thinking hard not to get emotional. I
never feel sorry for being emotional.
I really, I was at a space to where I couldn't believe that I had brought my children into this.
Where's the light? Because many of you probably feel that there's this darkness and there's this thunder cloud that's constantly over you. This family has dealt with so much.
Our journey is our journey. There has to be purpose in this pain. There has to be something more powerful. I have to find something to be blessed about every day. I have to count my blessings and have gratitude every single day.
Come on, Monica. Let's go, St. Louis. Turn and burn.
Hello, Miss Monica.
Monica.
Hi, guys. This is a good one. Sometimes you spend like 10 years and you don't got one like this.
Hi, Monica.
It's a feast. It's like a 17-course meal. You just like, you need a minute. With wine. With a wine pairing. And a whiskey pairing.
That is what. There it is.
I think I just had the most beautiful experience. I saw fireworks.
Thank you, Monica, for making our day.
Welcome back, 7:45. Wasn't he fun? Yes, everybody's salivating now after all the food that he was talking about. So Kathleen just asked, where can we find the list of the book signing? We're checking for you, or you can just I say rewind. You can tell me what I grew up with. You can just go back in this show, since it is streaming, and be able to listen to all. I gave the full rundown of all of his book signings, but if we can find a list, we'll have Hannah drop it in to the comments for you. You can continue to drop in, by the way, your favorite comfort food if you'd like, because we can always tag the chef in it so he can see it. And thank you, by the way. Kathy said that she just ordered her book. Thank you, Chef. Great ideas. I could talk food all day. I want the cookbook. Oh, yes, I was waiting for somebody to say they miss sweetie pies. When you think of comfort food, sweetie pies for sure was that. So, yes, we go from comfort food, which calms you, or I said puts you in a food-induced coma sometimes when you think of Thanksgiving. That's truly comfort food, to the calming aspect of life. How in the world did we ever get to YENology? And what is YENology? We're going to talk about all of this with Sarah Glasser. Sarah and I met just within the last month. We started talking about doing this awesome show together. And not just the show, but we're also going to talk more in depth, as I promised you, about an upcoming Feel the Authenticity workshop and other workshops that Sarah has at her place. So first of all, welcome. You look beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
I said that to her when I first, and this is what's crazy. So when you work together over the years, you start to dress alike. You start wearing similar colors. So you and I had no idea what each other were wearing. I just bought this jacket. I haven't worn this skirt in I don't even know how many years, but we blend.
I know. Perfect.
Right? We feel the connection already.
Right.
So we're going to give you background on Sarah before she ever decided to open up YENology, her passion project, which has been open for how long now?
January 2024.
Yep. So she's only been open, 10 months? I can't believe it's already October, first of all. But what we loved was, first of all, I want to thank, is it Katie? With Casey that does your social media, right?
Yes.
So Casey and you together started doing your social media on Instagram, and it's all of a sudden it popped up one day, and I looked and I was like, well, this is beautiful. So she's doing a great job. And then it caught my attention, and I thought, well, I want to reach out to her. And so you and I started following each other, and we started talking about doing this show together with YENology. So before we start and talk about what YENology is and talk about your background, YENology is not a real word, right?
No, it's a made-up word.
Well, how did you make this up?
So my background is in East Asian Studies. That was my undergraduate degree. And so yen in Eastern cultures means a strong desire. And ology is the study of. And for me, it's really important to continue to grow and learn as much as I can. And so this is the study of a strong desire, which for me is peace. And I think a lot of people, they want peace. And so we study the art of peace and relaxation, health and wellness. And that's how YENology came about.
I love, again, everything that we are about. And you see where it says, feel the wave. That is one of the staples. And one of the girls that was on my team, Jenny, she and I came in and just, first of all, loved the look of the store. She was commenting on the wave. You want to tell the background of where that, it's not actually painted on.
It's not painted.
But it looks like
of
it
the
is.
Store. It does. I really wanted, I love the look of the wave, and when you think of a wave, you think of it coming onto the shore, and then it goes away. So you want peace, and you go with the ebb and flow of life. And so I created this. Yep, you could see the wave on the back wall, and that was a custom made vinyl that I had made.
That is so cool. Again, this is the look of the store, but you'll get a chance to come into the store with us. We're going to be there for our noontime show next Thursday, 12 o'clock. We'd love to see you. If you can come by, even if you can stop by for a little bit, so you can come into the store for the live broadcast. You can also watch online, an opportunity for you to feel that true calm state. And all of the different products that she has in there that we'll be running down here over the next half hour or so to tell you about what can bring you to that calmness. This candle, by the way, that's been lit for the last couple of weeks is from YENology. This is actually the Feel the Wave. You also have Feel the Myrrh, which we have that we'll light when this one's done. Is this your favorite, though? Because that's your staple.
That is, I came up with that blend, so I was really excited about it. And I think it smells amazing. I have one that's for the holidays, too, that has a little bit of a clove, cinnamon. It's really relaxing also. Yeah, feel the holidays, feel the myrrh, feel the wave, feel the juniper.
Oh, I love juniper.
Yeah.
All of that, again, as we get ready for the season. Okay, so this is open since January, but we're going to go back in time before we come back forward. And I want you to listen to this because a lot of you might want to hear yourself in this story. And that's the thing that we always talk about, that people are doing something day in and day out that they don't love doing. And I always question, then why don't you shift patterns? Why don't you do something different? But you could have stayed in any one of these because what you've done, Sarah, is really amazing. Sarah Glasser, again, is my guest from YENology. But we're going to go back. You just talked about your studies.
Yes.
And so what brought you to that, first of all?
Oh, it's a long history. But when I was, and it's crazy, when I was in middle school, you got put in a language, and we were lucky enough to have Chinese, Japanese, and I picked Chinese, and I loved the language, loved the culture, continued to study that all the way through college. When I started at Washington University, I originally wanted to go into medicine, but the pull for the Chinese language and the culture just took me in that direction. So I ended up studying abroad in China my junior year, and I was there for about 9 months. And that's when I learned alternative forms of medication. So acupuncture, acupressure, different forms of herbs that, like, instead of the regular Western medicine. And I found that love, and I just continued. And then I decided to go to law school, originally wanting to do international or immigration law because of my East Asian studies background. And then my second year of law school, my schedule got a little messed up, and I ended up taking a domestic violence law course. And that really changed the trajectory of where I was going to go with law. I decided I wanted to practice family law and help victims of domestic and sexual assault.
Thank you for what you've done, by the way.
Yeah.
And again, I mean, obviously, when you start to hear the stories about what women, what men, what children have gone through, how does it not impact you? And it impacted you on such a high level that you wanted to be an advocate to help them.
Yes, for sure. And so I joined the board of Women's Place, which is now they combined with YWCA. But I was on that board for about 8 years when I was practicing family law, and I loved making an impact and helping women and families through a really difficult time.
Absolutely.
And because of that, there were a lot of issues that were coming up with cannabis use. And so I knew eventually we were going to go medical in Missouri, and I wanted to know how that was going to impact my practice. So I started going to conferences in Colorado and California and meeting a bunch of people. And then that industry, I loved the people that I was meeting. I love learning new things, and I knew that was on the cusp, and I wanted to be at the beginning of it in Missouri.
And what year was that?
That was in 2017 or 18.
Yeah.
And
so much has changed, right? And
Yeah.
it was interesting, the fight that all the different states had of not passing, and that, we're going to pass, and now it's out there. And whatever your beliefs are, if, again, someone is able to be able to take care of themselves in any way, whatever their demons are, whatever they've been dealing with, and if that can help, then why would we keep that from them?
I think it's all about knowledge and
Education.
learning education, what works best for your body, and
Right.
and how you handle. I mean, it's a personal decision.
Well, and when we were in your store and you talked about this, you want to talk about what we have inside of our bodies from the cannabinoid
endocannabinoid system.
Yeah.
And so, like CBD, THC, cannabis affects your endocannabinoid system, and it's a plant. And so just like all other plants, it affects people differently, and it can really help the different strains. There's CBD, there's CBG. We could go on and on about all the different types of things that can help with your endocannabinoid system, and helping with inflammation, anxiety. So you need a lot of research, and you can come to the store and we can show you all of our products and how it may benefit you. And of course, you need to talk to your physician as well. But we have lots of different options, and we don't just have CBD products and hemp products. We also have essential oils, and we have incense and other beautiful products that can help you on your journey for health and wellness.
So again, if you're just tuning in, Sarah Glasser is my guest from YENology. We're talking about her journey and her path leading up to where she is now. So people that have come in over the last 10 months, well, first of all, if they're driving along and they see the name, what's YENology, right? So it's obviously getting the word out there of what they're able to do. But what are their greatest questions that they've had so far? And really from people who have never introduced themselves to any type of these products, what are their questions for you?
A lot of people come in because they're having issues with sleep or inflammation. And they want to know what can they take or what can they use that could help them sleep better at night. And I have a lot of different products depending on what you want to take in your body. So I've got teas that are great for sleep. I have tinctures, gummies, there's chocolates. There's a lot of different options, and there's not just for sleep. There's some for just being calm, some for focus, some for energy. And it's just the combination of different herbs, different flowers. It's not just CBD and cannabis. It's the combination of all of it together that can really affect your body and help you in whatever way you need.
Well, and it's interesting because not just for humans, but there are a lot of people for animals that they're looking for CBD products. Do you have people come in asking about that?
I do have some pet products.
Good.
I have some gummies, and I have some tinctures for cats and dogs, for calm, for mobility. And like I said, with inflammation, animals have inflammation.
Absolutely.
And they have anxiety too. And this is just a natural way to help them deal with that pain. If you don't want to have them on prescription medication, this could be a great alternative.
And again, as Sarah mentioned before we take a break, education is key. So talk with doctors or talk with your vets, because if they have them on something, you want to see, is there a counter, something that's going to counteract it. So look into that. But so when we're there next Thursday, we're going to be there live, by the way, at noon for our show. Make sure that I get the pet products, because I have a dog that's going to fit both of the things you just mentioned. Once she's so afraid of storms. I mean, literally, even the wind will blow a certain way and she'll run into the closet. I'm like, this poor thing. We tried some, but I'm looking for others, because there was some kind of a treat that had it in there. And we thought, okay, unless she needs a bigger dose, it didn't do anything for her.
Right.
I've tried the Thunder shirt. It didn't do anything for her. So you just like a child, you want to help them.
Right.
She also is 7 now. We we can tell that her hips are starting to bother her. She's an Australian cattle mix, so there's a lot of energy, a lot of jumping.
Right.
So for humans and for animals, she's got it to bring you that sense of calmness. If you have any questions, by the way, for Sarah, go ahead and drop them in right now as we take a break. But she's done more. She's also been on the board at the St. Louis Ballet. So we're going to talk about all the beautiful walk that she's had before she decided. But why did she decide to open this up? All of that still to come here with Sarah Glasser from YENology on The Real Monica Adams Show. This is my wonderful role model, one of my best friends.
She's, oh my gosh, you got a long life. You could probably live to be 130 and stuff. And I said, oh God, I hope not.
It's getting hot in here. Don't take off all your clothes.
I'm not going to take off my clothes. On the radio, Kate, going to be
Kansas City, Kansas City, here I come. We're gonna spank. We're gonna speak. We're not gonna spank anybody. We're gonna speak about knowing your value, and then I'm gonna. If you don't know your value and you don't grab hold of how important you are, I'm gonna spank you. Folks, you never know what you're gonna get with her. 425 North New Bellas. What's in that building? An incredible place from a woman who just joined us, one of our newest sponsors. It's Elemental Aesthetics, as you can see there. Jennifer Warman-Bloss, and she'll be back on with us, by the way, next week, Wednesday. And we've had people from my team already. Michelle was telling me that she went in and had her facial, and she had another procedure that we're going to show you called Agnes. She'll have to tell us a little bit more about this. There's a video that Michelle said that they took. Can't wait to talk about that. So that's the thing about Jennifer. She's always on the cutting edge of all the wonderful things that she can do for your skin. You know, today we're talking about that calmness. This is definitely a place to bring you to that state of mind. So I love how everybody can kind of work hand in hand in a collaboration. People that have ADD, ADHD, there's a couple things. There's a bed there that has a vibration aspect to it, and then it's the music side that ties in to, I don't even know, she said probably 100 or more music songs that are able to tie into helping. We have a Himalayan salt room that they have that they pipe in. So many levels of different things for the inside and the outside of the body. So if you haven't scheduled for yourself to calm yourself down, Elemental Aesthetics can do that for you. Suite 206, 425 North New Bellas Road. She's in Creve Coeur. They also have for weight loss, you know, all the weight loss drugs that people are taking, Wegovy, semaglutide, things like that. They do a consultation to find out what is right for you. We'll talk more with Jennifer next Wednesday, 314-279-6069. If you have not scheduled your appointment yet, please do so, because again, as we always say, please support those that support us. It is 8:01, The Real Monica Adams Show. Welcome back. I'm your host, Monica Adams, and we've had two guests today. Our second guest is Sarah Glasser. She is the owner of YENology. So we went to break talking a little bit about her background, again, in law, in Eastern studies. And so one of the things that Sarah and I are both big on is the education of Western and Eastern culture medicine. There is absolutely a need for both, right? The marriage between the two. But sometimes you might want to look into things before you just right away are taking and popping pills and you don't even know what it's for.
Right. Yeah. And like we've said, education has
Yes.
always been really important. And so another aspect of the store, when I opened it, I really wanted to educate the community. And so not only I have yoga every bi-weekly. It's on Saturday mornings, and that's just another way to move the body, to center yourself, to start your weekend off right. And so we have that. It's coming up this Saturday too. On my website, you can go to the events tab. It has a calendar and it shows all of the events. So it has yoga. We've done women's circles, and we also are doing workshops. We just started workshops. So last week we did how do you infuse food? and with cannabis or with THC, but also what's all the information that you need about it. Then we also have coming up consumption methods, and that will show you all different forms. What are all the different ways that you can use cannabis or hemp products? And also educating you on what's in everything, what are the dosages, how do you take and use these things in the right way. And then we're also having other journeys and workshops. So we're doing an incense journey. We're going to do a cacao journey. And so I'm trying to bring in physicians and other practitioners that we can have these workshops so people can come and really become educated and ask all of their questions, because it's a new industry and it's evolving continuously.
You can't even keep up sometimes.
Right.
And the thing is, I love the background that you've had, because again, it's what you've done, the fight that you've done for people, and then collaborating with people in the industry, but also physicians, to say, here's the education point. Instead of someone just saying, oh, I'm going to jump on the bandwagon, I'm just going to open up a shop on the corner, right? And they don't even know what they're selling.
Right. No, for me,
it's your passion.
And I'm always learning too. So I feel like it's important to show other people and have that opportunity. And most of my workshops, some of them I do charge a fee, but others I'm opening it up free for the community, because I don't want that to restrict anyone from learning.
Your yoga, is that free? It was.
It was.
Yes.
It is now. It's $25 and it's for an hour. But we also have buy one, bring a friend for free, and we're gonna have coffee and mimosas and snacks. So it's
that's
a whole
lot.
experience.
Well, and I can just tell you, from being a trainer for 27 years now, that is absolutely the rate for classes, if not more expensive, just for a pop-in class anywhere, but you're getting so much more with this. So so if you want to try out yoga this coming Saturday again, you can go onto her website to find out about all this information. YENology, located, by the way, at 903 South Lindbergh in Frontenac, Suite 110. So for the yoga, Feel the Yoga with Emily Elizabeth. It'll be this Saturday, 9 to 10 a.m. The doors will open, by the way, for you at 8:50. So come a little early, walk around, see the products, do yoga, and then spend some time afterwards for that. Speaking of yoga, so you're very big in the movement of the body. So let's talk about your dance background and then being involved in St. Louis Ballet.
I danced growing up, and I love the arts, and it's always been important to me. And I think introducing it to young kids and continuing educating is always about how the arts really have an impact on everyone's lives. And so when I moved to St. Louis, I'm like, I have to be involved with the arts. And I went to see St. Louis Ballet, and they're gorgeous and amazing. And so I met the director, and I said, what can I do to get involved? And so then I was on the board for about 4 years, and still very involved and helped with their galas. And their gala is coming up May 10th. And I'm involved in that gala this year as well. And my daughter dances with St. Louis Ballet, and she'll be in the Nutcracker, which is a wonderful family experience if you can go and bring your kids. And so the arts, I've also incorporated that into my store as well, because I think if you're looking for peace and relaxation, for some people, seeing beautiful artwork brings them peace of mind. And so I have original ceramics, I have a local jeweler, and I have some other jewelry pieces, but I'm always looking for artists and glass blowers for beautiful art.
You do, by the way. So we're talking about her store, YENology, and when we went in a few weeks back, I was so drawn to your jewelry. Remember, I kept going back. I'm like, all right, I have to come back to this on the day of our show. You right now do have a special for all of our viewers. You want to tell them about that?
Anyone that comes in and says that they saw the show, they get 10% off any products other than the original artwork, since that is, these artists are working for their money too, but anything else in the store is 10% off. I also always give 10% off to first responders, veterans.
Thank you for that, by the way.
Veterans and cannabis industry workers.
Yeah. Yeah, so she's very big in giving back, and you're also very big in supporting small business. So there's a lot of products that you have in store that we were really drawn to, and you started to tell the stories behind, oh, this is a women-owned company.
Yes.
Talk about that.
Well, every company that I carry, I have a relationship with all of the owners. I've met most of them. We talk on the phone, but when I looked for products, I wanted to look for small businesses, for minority-owned, women-owned companies, and every product or every company has a story behind it, and that is what's exciting to me about what I can carry and what I look into and the products that I have at the store.
Absolutely. Yeah. So again, these are products that you can find online, you can find in the store as well. What are you proudest of in your last 10 months? And before you answer that, going from everything you've done, and again, this is what I wanted to do today. I wanted to kind of give you background on Sarah's life because it's so diverse. There's so much that she has been into. There's so much she could have stayed with. But what has you walk away from being a lawyer, from being in Eastern Studies, from being, well, you're still doing stuff with the ballet, but what has you say, I've got to do this? Because there's a lot of people that have watched over the last year and a half that have heard these stories, and whatever you say can really, truly inspire and impact a person to completely shift their own life.
Oh, gosh, that's a hard question, but I feel like life takes you on different paths, and if you pivot and you go with really what's drawing you, to that passion. I've always just followed my passion and tried to do things that were really fulfilling to me and in line with my family and my goals. And I want to be a really good example for my kids. I have 3 kids, and I have a really supportive husband that all of my dreams, anything that I'm like, I want to do this, he's like, okay, I'm here. I'm supporting you.
That's huge.
But for my kids, I wanted to show them, like, you go with what you love and what is really inspiring you and what creates happiness in your life. And it's very hard to start a business and to own a small business, and it's a lot of time, and you really have to figure out a good balance of work and family. And I couldn't do it without the support of my family, and I really wanted them to see you education and knowledge and peace and your body and health is so important. You have nothing in life if you don't have your health.
Amen. I'm so glad you said it. I say that to people so often. They're like, oh, I want this in life. I want that in life. Well, I'm like, well, what are you doing first about your whole body, right? Because if you don't have that, you're not here any longer to do these things, to travel, to buy this for yourself, to make a difference in the world. You've got to take care of you, right? You're the most important person in the equation of your life. We say it all the time. So earlier Michelle said chocolate. Ooh, tell me more.
I have some really good chocolate at the store. There's 2 companies that I carry that have chocolates. One is a chocolate caramel, and it has CBD in it, and it is amazing. It really is relaxing, but it's a female-owned company by 3 women, and they're in Minnesota, and I love their story and their background and their history, and they also are a company that they source their products from a hemp farm that they have control of, that's organic, and they know the whole process, and to me, that's really important. Sure. And anything that I carry that has any hemp or CBD products, I always make sure that I look at what their lab work is. I have on my website all the certificates of analysis, so anyone can go and look and see exactly what they're getting in their product. The other chocolates that I carry are from another female-owned company by 3 women. One was in the beauty industry, and the other 2 are female physicians, and so it's physician formulated, and the chocolates one has like turmeric and ashwagandha, and so they're all, I mean, they taste delicious. They're dark chocolate, but they also have amazing benefits, and you will feel it right away. Like, you'll feel calmness 10 minutes after you.
Because I think that's the thing a lot of people always wonder is, if I start to incorporate these products, what is the time frame where myself, or she mentioned earlier, she's got products for the dogs as well, because that's the thing. When we have tried this stuff on the dog, it was like, well, what am I expecting? When should this happen? It depends on the product.
It depends on the product. It depends on the body and your metabolism too, and how quickly you break things down. But typically, if you're taking, I mean, it ranges, and you always need to start slow and add on. And if there's I have gummies in the store. I always suggest you take at least a half or a quarter to start off, and then you see how it affects you. And for some people, you'll feel it within 10 minutes. Other people, it might take 30 minutes. But it really is how your body processes, just like all other food.
Well, and again, we couldn't mention this enough. Education, education, education. I love the workshops that you're holding. So Sarah and I talked after our live show, which, by the way, again, mark it on the calendar. It is next Thursday. We would love for you to come live. I know a lot of times it's hard. I know a lot of you might be currently at work at the time, but I want you to at least watch the show if you can, maybe on your lunch break, or go to the show later, because that's when we're really going to do the show and tell. Today, I wanted to give you background on Sarah, the journey leading up to the point of opening YENology. Next week, Thursday at noon, we're going to walk through and really showcase all the different products that you have in the store. The things that caught my eye are a lot of the products that you have in the cannabis side. I mean, the colors of them, the glass, I was like, what is this? There's some really beautiful things.
It's beautiful pieces. And that, I was so excited to showcase all of the beautiful pieces that they have out there. And some products, they say that it's from, I love some of the stuff that you're showing right now. That I have a new product that is actual resin, and you light it, and it smells amazing, but it's raw resin. And I have myrrh and palo santo and black copal, and then the bottom one that looks like a lotus is actually a passive aromatherapy diffuser, so it doesn't require any water. You just put your oil on there and it diffuses out for hours. I mean, sometimes days.
Can you tell people what those type of oils do for the body, for the home, just your space?
So the essential oils I carry are from doTERRA, and they're really clear on the bottles if you can use them internally, if you use them on your body, or you just use it orally, but or sensory. And depending on what you're looking for, it really can help to calm the body. My son wasn't feeling well the other day, and so there's an essential oil that is On Guard, and it's for antibacterial and really helps with if you're sick and clearing your sinuses. And so I put it in his room in a diffuser, and it was going off, and he was like, that smelled a lot in the middle of the night. And I said, well, how are you feeling today? He was like, I'm feeling better. So,
oh, Mom, do I have to admit this?
Yeah, exactly.
She was so funny. When we first met Sarah in storage, we were talking about parenting, which is a whole nother show that we can do together. Parenting and having kids. How old are your kids?
16, 14, and 12, almost 13.
And boys, girls?
2 boys and a girl.
Yeah. And so it was all about, I don't want to deal with this, I don't want to deal with that. And then she's got all these wonderful products to bring them back to the state of calmness. And they even fight you and go, I don't want to hear about that right now, Mom.
Yes.
Your daughter did that,
yes.
right?
My daughter's always
I don't want to hear it.
I
Don't put that on me.
want to hear your Zen stuff, Mom. But I tell her, like, okay, take a deep breath. Let's smell some oils. Like, oh, God.
Here she goes again.
Yes.
Did you do workshops on breathing and meditation?
We did do meditation, but also in breathing. But part of the yoga, we incorporate that also.
So important.
Yeah, so important.
Because we always talk about people who, you can tell right away, a person who is stressed because they are chest breathers, right? They're so anxious. Their shoulders are up. You can see their body language, and you're just trying to get them, we always hear, calm down, right? Okay, how do you calm down? Well, just take a step away from whatever your current space is and try to breathe. But you got to be taught that. Guided meditation. All of these products that she has, can you tell just how calm she is? She obviously walks the walk and talks the talk. I mentioned, and this is something that we want to educate people, if you are going into, let's say you're buying a new house, or you are going into a new workspace, tell them the importance of saging.
So saging really clears the space, and you can when you sage, you can also bring your own intention. So at the store every morning, I use one of my incense sticks that I have, or sage. I have sage incense, and I walk around the store and I have my intention for the day and bring positive energy. And so that and sage is a good way to help you focus.
Yeah. Bringing back to center of balance, right?
Yes.
All of these things, before we wrap up and give you all the information that you need to know for our big show next Thursday, we also want to throw this out there. And I mentioned it a couple of times over the last couple of weeks, but we're going to go deeper into this over the next week, seeing what works best for you. Because one of the things that we want to do outside of the show next Thursday is to do a Feel the Authenticity class. The name of the show is The Real Monica Adams for a purpose, for a reason, so many levels of it. But I think the biggest is that we need everyone to show their true self more. But how do you do that? You have to find your way to trust. Trusting, a sense of calmness, to find trust in another person or in what you're doing for a living or whatever you're surrounding yourself with. But it's to take the filters off, stop the fakeness in life. So much that you're seeing on social media or what you saw on TV is the version that someone wants to show you. But what's really happening on the inside? What's happening behind the scenes? We're going to talk a little bit more about that. I'm very big on the whole balance of life, the triangle theory of the physical side, the spiritual side, the mental side of life. How do we get all those things balanced? So we're going to talk about that. But what we want to know is, would you rather have a workshop on that on a weekend or throughout the week? I'm feeling from discussions I've had with people that I think weekend would be better. Like we said, what, a Saturday, Sunday morning?
Sunday.
Yes, or an afternoon. So start weighing in for us. We're talking about doing this in December. We'll put that out there to you over the coming weeks in social and then make the announcement of when that will be. But it will definitely be in December as we get ready for the stress of the holidays.
Right.
I want to try to keep you calmer. And when you go to see your aunts, your uncles, you're together with family, maybe it's a calmer affair this year instead of it getting out of hand and being crazy. Maybe this will be the first of many traditions of happiness, and she can help you with that. So again, YENology. Let's put everything you need to know up on the screen. Next week, Thursday at noon, we will be there at YENology. You can go online, yen-ology.com. The phone number, by the way, is 314-279-1607. Do you want to give them your hours and days?
Tuesday through Friday, we're open from 10 to 6, and then Saturday, 10 to 5.
There you go. Closed on Sundays and Mondays. But as you see there, online shopping is always available to you as well. So why don't you go to the website today, check out the products, and then go into the store. I know one of our viewers, Ann, stopped in and said she absolutely loved it. And she's like, I can't wait to continue to go in and get more and more for myself. But we wanted to bring Sarah in today to really go deeper into the background before she decided to open her passion project. That's been open again just since January, located in the front neck area. So stop in today if you want. Maybe go on lunch hour and just start to introduce yourself. But also she's there for you to help educate, because I think a lot of times people walk in and they're just kind of lost. Like, where do I even begin?
And it can be really overwhelming too. And I didn't want to have a space that was overwhelming. Yeah. And I wanted it to be calm, and I have a water feature that
I love that, by the way.
I wanted it to feel more like a spa, but also someplace comfortable that you can ask as many questions as you want. No question is a stupid question.
No, never. And the space itself for these workshops, you can have about how many people?
I can have about 26 people.
Okay, so for the Feel the Authenticity, start looking at my socials. We'll, of course, be announcing it on air as well. When we tell you about those tickets going on sale, we'll put them up on our website for any of this. For next week, Thursday, though, you could come on by, again, at noontime for the show. That'll be the true walking around the store and showing you all the products from so many levels, from candles to essential oils to the cannabis products to, again, local businesses or female-owned businesses, everybody that she's lifting up as they lift her up and have that collaborative effort. That water feature, is that for sale? Is that
no? That's part
I'm
of
telling
the
you,
store.
I need that in my home for calmness, the trickle of water. All right, so I always do the end of the show, 100 Days to Freedom from. So I can either tell you to pick a color, or you can just tell me what you're feeling that people need a break from.
Let's see. Blue is my favorite color.
Blue is your favorite? Mm-hmm. So there's two here. One's more teal, one's more...
Well, teal's my maiden name, so we'll go with teal.
Teal, that would be from overeating, and then this one's from anger.
Oh gosh. Well, let's go with
the teal would be overeating.
Well,
you feel anger or overeating?
Well, I don't I don't know, but I picked it, so
Teal?
let's go with it. Yeah, let's
Okay.
go with the teal.
So, and I always believe that there's a reason. Somebody needs to hear how to break themselves from this. And truly, I think it does fit, Sarah, because if someone is in an addiction in any form, they need to find their way to a different path. Oh, it's got to chill. Oh, that's it. That's
Yes.
crazy chills. Where'd that come from?
It was meant to be.
It is.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to take our final break. 100 days to freedom from overeating. If you're suffering from this right now, we're going to have a break from that, from Stephen Arterburn, and then opportunities for you to go into her store and find some products that will help you break away from the addiction, whatever the addiction may be. And for a lot of people, it is overeating. I want to break you from this before you go into the holidays, by the way, and feel so down upon yourself when you think, I did it again, and now I have another New Year's resolution, and I did it again. We're going to break that cycle when we return.
She's a special woman and done so much for St. Louis.
Watching her work is one of the most incredible things you can see.
She just sees value in everyone.
Sometimes people just need you to sit with them and hear them. I feel heard.
The time flew by, and it was like sitting and talking to a friend.
Not only creating a better place here in St. Louis, but to inspire others. It's always great to have examples like you.
You have such a light and such a presence, and I could feel it this morning.
We knew right away when you started this, we wanted to be on your show. Thanks for having us.
I look forward to seeing how you rock and roll and shake it up.
Well, welcome back. Sarah and I are just enjoying time spent together in the actual interview, and then at the break, we were talking about this chill. If you could see closer, I have head-to-toe chills of goosebumps that just came, and I just said, and she smiled and said, oh, isn't that true? God is so interesting how he chooses the ending of every show. This is called Do You Want to Get Well? I mean, it's literally what we've been talking about. These books, a lot of people always ask, Stephen Arterburn is the author. You can get these anywhere online. I happen to pick all of our books up at the bookstore of The Crossing down in Chesterfield. They just called to me. The colors of them alone, and then what they speak to us. When Jesus saw him lying there and learned that he had been in this condition for a long time, he asked him, do you want to get well? John 5, verse 6. It's a simple yet profound example of healing in the Bible is when Jesus went by the pool called Bethesda in Jerusalem. And a great number of people with chronic medical conditions were lying by the pool, hoping for a chance to be healed in the pool's waters. One man had been lying near the pool for 38 years, and Jesus asked him if he wanted to get well. The man answered that no one was there to help him get into the pool, and others kept getting in front of him. Have you ever felt like you've been waiting to get well for years? A lot of people say yes. And what we talked about today is to break the unhealthy conditions, whatever it may be, that doesn't have you the best version of you. Has life gotten in the way? Maybe it was a job. Maybe it was an unplanned pregnancy, a move, a divorce, a loss, a chronic illness, all these things that don't have you in the best version of you. It may sound like Jesus' question of the man was harsh. Why would an invalid be near the pool if that person didn't want to be healed, an invalid? But Jesus was actually asking the man a simple question. How badly do you want this? How badly do you want to be healed? Jesus responded to the man's complaint of not having help and others getting in his way by saying to him, get up, pick up your mat, and walk. That's John 5, verse 8. And guess what? The man was healed. There's my chills again. What is standing in the way of your own healing? What do you need to pick up or let go of to step into your healing? Brian Houston said, the big life we long to live can so often be hijacked by setbacks or stumbles, unexpected bumps in the road. But if we spend our time looking to or dwelling on the past, which by the way is not serving you, you hear me say it all the time, what serves you? Let go of what doesn't. Find what does. Find who does to help carry you forward. We may never meet the God appointment waiting for us in the future if we don't let go and let God. One of my favorite sayings. Christine Kane said, but many of us would prefer to be comforted than changed. That's why I don't use the word change, by the way. You focus on that on the show. I always say shift. Some of us, we would prefer to be enabled than changed. And Stephen Curtis Chapman said, God is telling an amazing, glorious, epic story. We have to decide if we will trust him with it. You all have an epic life. You have to believe in yourself. Here's today's prayer for you. Dear Jesus, please help me to see the areas that I'm holding back, that I'm hindering from being healed. I want my own healing to be 100%. I pray that I can let go of my fear and take a step of faith forward toward my healing. Amen to that. Oh, this was a good one today. I really like this. Sarah, you picked a good one. And we went back and forth, by the way. Was it going to be overeating or anger? That really didn't even talk about the food side. It was just the need to be healed, which again, we're going to try to do together with you in our collaboration. So next week, Thursday, I hope to see you at noon with Sarah. We'll talk a little bit more about the journey that led her to opening YENology, but it's more about finally showing you this beautiful space. So I would love to see you. We will be broadcasting, by the way, that day on not only Facebook, YouTube, and X, but we also will add Rumble and Instagram to that list. So the biggest thing that you can do is, if you can't be there, share, like, follow our live stream so you always get notified when we are on, and share that around the world. I met a ton of people when I was in Mexico last week and on the planes, and I just started giving out cards, and I said, watch this from wherever you are, because this is what we need more of in life. Our ways to find happiness, positivity, hope, inspiration, all those things that we're trying to do together. Yes. Love that I've met this beautiful soul. I believe God brought me to that day to look at Instagram, to see that particular video, for us to connect, and who knows what we're going to be able to do together. But we're going to start it right here, right now, and then continue it next Thursday, and then with our Feel the Authenticity workshop, which will be sometime in December. Thank you all for watching. And again, if you couldn't watch live, tag us later on the replay, and then just keep sharing about this wonderful space that she has in Frontenac. Remember, just like she's done and just like I've done, we believed in ourselves, our families lifted us up, and they're there to support us. I hope you have that same kind of support system. If not, reach out, go to these different workshops, find somebody new in your life, because that's going to take you to where your life is really meant to be going, to make you the best version of you. And that is called kindness. Spread more of it in the world. God bless you all.